What is going on, everyone? This is D-Man here, and I wanted to do a quick little review, maybe it'll be longer, I don't know, for Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is a game that reinvented the franchise of Pokemon. We've been asking for a Pokemon game like this for a really long time, and it's one of those things where it was like, when it was announced, it was exciting, but over time, we weren't sure whether it was going to be great or whether it was going to be iffy. Now, it's got its ups and downs, and I'll get into that. But first, I want to say I played 91 hours of this game. I couldn't stop playing. I'm done now. I 100% everything. I even got the shiny charm. I went as far as to get the shiny charm. I've caught quite a few, like 6 or 7 shinies. One of them was after I got the shiny charm, but the other ones were not. That being said, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty a little bit of this game on how it was and my impressions of this game as a whole and what it means for the future of the franchise. Now, keep in mind, this is my first video game review that I've done for the channel, so I might not be very good at it. But if you do enjoy it, please be sure to like, subscribe, maybe share it around. As I will be doing more reviews in the future for games that I play, and will also be streaming them over on Twitch. Okay, so when the game first starts, basically, you're essentially sent falling from the sky by Arceus, which is the god of all Pokemon. In the Pokemon universe, it basically, essentially, is God. Whether he created people or not, I don't know, but it's the god of, like, everything in the Pokemon world, and, you end up taking your phone with you, which is silly, but he kind of changes it because it's like got your map and different things and kind of guides you. But when you first fall from the sky, the professor sees you, is like, whoa, you fell from the sky and stuff. And then his 3 Pokemon get loose. You got to capture them with the balls. Now, the mechanics that this game has is really cool and such a neat concept. And it's something that we've been asking for a while now, where you get with your character to be able to hide in grass and be able to throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon yourself without it being turn-based and you choosing that to take up a turn during battle and all that in an open environment. You can also dodge Pokemon's attacks. They can spot you and attack you. They can be more aggressive. Some of them can actually be more friendly. And then you got things like Magikarp, which when you're out in the water, Magikarp will just kind of sit there and look at you dumb. So it's very neat that the Pokemon actually have more of a personality for once. Now, with this game, they created new models. They've been using the same models for the Pokemon and their moves and everything ever since 2013, around the X and Y era, which is really important for the franchise because it goes to show that they're actually trying now, right? They're not doing the same exact thing that they've always really done, which is nice because it gives me a little more confidence for what Game Freak may do in the future. But the question is whether they're going to go backwards, and if they do a Gen 5 remake, which I think that they probably will, after they possibly do DLC for this game, which has been supposedly leaked, but I don't know, if they will do this kind of style, or if they're going to, for Gen 5, go backwards again and kind of do what we're used to. I'm really wondering what they're going to do if they do a Gen 5 remake before they do more Legends games. I really hope that they do more Legends games, though, like Legends Arceus or any kind of other generation of Pokemon that, with Legends kind of things. Alola was also mentioned in the game, which is Generation 7. So I'm very curious if they're going to do more Legends games like prequels, which would be actually really cool because this was something new, but in a generation that Pokemon fans are used to, and then it was a good thing for new fans or fans that from back in the day liked Pokemon and got out of it, and it brought them back. Now, this game has a crafting kind of system to it. It's got similar vibes to Monster Hunter, where you have a hub world where you do crafting. With this game, you craft Pokeballs, you craft potions, you craft food, which the food mechanic I think is really cool, that you throw food, and the Pokemon will go eat it, and you can catch it from behind, from the back, and it will be more effective than catching it from the front or wherever, because it doesn't notice it as easy. And then there's also these things called Alpha Pokemon, which are the ones that have red eyes, and they're really mean looking. They're also bigger, and they're harder to catch, but you once you get enough research on that Pokemon, or if you don't, certain cakes, you feed it to it, and then you catch it from behind, and for the most part, it will work, and it's really cool. And sometimes you have to battle them, though, because the ball doesn't always work. Like I had to do that with my Snorlax, but sometimes that kind of happens, and it's really fun. It's a really neat idea, and some alphas will be more rare to find, and it's just really cool. Now there's 5 different areas to go through in this game, and there's also 5 different boss battles, and also 5 different Pokemon that you can ride on. I won't spoil at least one of them that I didn't know about going into this game, which is really cool. But you've probably seen that there's a flying one that you fly with, which is actually the last one you get. And then there's one that you ride on, and no pun intended, and different things there. And then there's also bosses, and you have to throw these sacks of, like, it's like some kind of food that they like or something, and you have to throw those at them, and then you dodge their moves that they do, kind of like, it's like a mix of Legend of Zelda meets Dark Souls, and I'm a big fan of both of those franchises, so it's one of those things that I'm like, Pokemon actually did something so unique and different. I really, really love what they did here, because some people might not be big on it. Like, some people prefer just, your normal RPG turn-based gameplay for Pokemon. Some people, but I'm someone who is very open to something new and different, and mixing in different elements from game franchises that I already love into Pokemon is really cool. And I hope that down the line they get even better with these kind of things, and they do boss fights like this again, and keep it just as fun, but build on it. Just completely build on it. Maybe make some of the fights a little more tricky, make the Pokemon use even more moves, but keep the dodge rolling element in there, and your character having to take damage and all that, because it's one of those things that just works so well with this game and made this game so much fun. Now there's these things called Outbreaks of Pokemon, which is basically, this is the easiest way to find shiny Pokemon or to complete the dex for a specific Pokemon, which is really cool, but you can't get those until after you defeat the first boss, which is Cleavor, which is a brand new Pokemon evolution of Scyther, which is really neat. There's also 28 unknown that you can find randomly throughout the map, and they're hidden really well, which is also kind of cool. Overall, I just really like the fact that you get a character finally that can take damage from Pokemon, that can be attacked by Pokemon, they also, you can throw out your Pokemon and then battle that Pokemon the same way as the core mechanic RPG Pokemon games. And you can also move your character around while you're battling, which I love that aspect, that they're really, with this game, they're kind of bringing it more to life than what it ever has been before, and that's a lot of positives. I'll get into a few negatives though. Now the biggest negative that I can get into is the graphics. I mean, everyone talks about the graphics, they look like crap, blah blah blah. You're not entirely wrong. I mean, I look at stuff like Breath of the Wild and know that the Switch really does have the potential for something so beautiful, but when it comes to Pokemon and Game Freak, I feel like they could have delayed this game a little longer to push the graphics a little more, and it also has a lot of pop in, which is not very great. But I think over time, the game is really fun, so graphically it is kind of meh, but since the game is so much fun, the graphics don't really matter. If a game is like really, really fun, the graphics shouldn't matter too much to you, Like, if you're having a lot of fun with a video game, then the graphics, it's whatever, Another issue that I've seen with the game throughout playing, not only pop-in, but, like, Pokemon from far away and stuff, their frame rates are terrible. Like, you look at a Pokemon in a distance that's flying or something, or even just walking, the frames on it are so bad. They're just like they were in the first trailer that we got, where the Pokemon, the frames were like 2 frames. The frames are really, really bad for Pokemon that are far away, which it's whatever, because the game is fun. But I think these are things that they really need to improve when they do another game like this, when it comes to an open world style of Pokemon. Now, one more negative I'm going to get into is the world does feel a little empty, but at the same time, I'm okay with that, because the amount of Pokemon that pop up is enough to where you're satisfied with what's going on. Plus, there's these things called rifts that appear, okay? This is actually a really positive that I didn't talk about. The rifts, whenever a rift appears in the world, it'll say there's a rift that's being formed. And when you go to that rift, random Pokemon that are really rare to spawn can spawn in, and alpha Pokemon that you never hardly see, different Pokemon that you're like, oh my gosh, whoa, it's that Pokemon, and you really, really want to catch it or battle it and then catch it. And there's tons of items in there too. You can get items to evolve certain Pokemon that you need that you'd normally need to trade or do something weird with, that you can get in there instead of having to spend points that you get throughout the world, which by getting these points that you need in order to get items, you have to find stuff in the world that people lose. They're called lost items, which they're always just constantly flowing through all the different worlds in the game, and you build up those points to buy these items, but you can also find them in the rifts, and the rifts last like 5 to 10 minutes, and they're really fun. They're just these big orbs that turn purple, and you're in them, and Pokemon just continue spawning, and there's bunch of cool items on the ground that you can use for crafting or use for evolving Pokemon. Now, would I recommend someone to play this game that is new to Pokemon or played back in the day and hasn't played one in a really long time? I do believe that if you're used to be into Pokemon and haven't been for a long time because they kind of started becoming the same thing over and over again, I really do think you'll enjoy this game. However, you have to get through the tutorial first, which even for me, the tutorial, it's like 3 to 4 hours or something, and it's kind of lengthy and a little boring, but once you get through that tutorial and really get into things in the world, you will be having a lot of fun catching Pokemon, watching what they'll do, scaring them off, battling them, and then catching them, or just battling them. There's these different goals that you have to do for the Pokemon in order to complete them in the Pokédex, which it's not just like you catch one and you're done. You have to do all these goals, like whether you feed it, or catch a certain amount, or catch it without it seeing you, or see it use certain moves. These things in order for it to be completed in the dex, which is really cool and a neat idea. Now, I haven't talked about post-game yet. Post-game, I actually think is possibly better than the main story. One of the downsides to the main story is that it is a little weaker, but the post-game has some really cool stuff. Although the main story, I would say, is a lot stronger than like the past few Pokemon games that we've gotten, but I may be a little biased because Gen 4 is like one of my favorite generations as well. But post-game, there's some really cool fights, and there's one that I will not spoil, but it's actually really challenging. And I was like, whoa. And I ended up losing the first time. And I was like, okay, now I got to change up what I do because I messed up completely and wasn't expecting what happened. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a rating on it. So overall, I would say this is probably one of the better Pokemon games made in a long time. And if I had to put a number on it, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 because it does have those issues that can be improved upon, and it does have its flaws, but overall it's still one of the better and best Pokemon games probably made. Definitely probably in my top 3 or top 5 favorite Pokemon games I've actually ever played. I think if Game Freak continues going with something like this, they can really do something even more special and even better, that's got a stronger story, that's got better graphics, better frames, even more customizations, even more crafting. There's so many different things of potential to build off of this, and I hope they build off of this instead of going back to what they were doing. They can maybe do another game like that, but because of this change, and I think it's a change for the better, I think this is something that they should continue to make more games for. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on what you think of Pokemon Legends Arceus, or if it's something you've thought about picking up and haven't picked up yet. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Later.